Well, if the robbers were not surprised when Jack came into the barn with the weather, "If you do another trick like this," said the captain, "I'll resign the command to you." They soon saw the farmer going by again, driving a fat bullock this time. "Who'll bring the fat bullock here?" says Jack, "and use no violence?" "I can," says one. "And I can," says another. "I'll try," says Jack, and away he went into the wood. The farmer was about the spot where he saw the first brogue, when he heard the bleating of a goat off at his right in the wood. He cocked his ears, and the next thing he heard was the mane of a sheep, blood alive. Says he, "Maybe these are my own that I lost." There was more bleating and more men. "There they are as sure as a gun," says he, and he tied his bullock to a sapling that grew in the hedge, and away he went into the wood. When he got near the place where the cries came from, he heard them a little before him, and on he followed him. At last, when he was about half a mile from the spot where he tied the beast, the cries stopped altogether. After searching and searching till he was tired, he returned for his bullock, but there wasn't the ghost of a bullock there, nor anywhere else that he searched. This time, when the thieves saw Jack and his prize coming into the barn, they couldn't help shouting out, "Jack must be our chief!" So there was nothing but feasting and drinking hand to fist the rest of the day. Before they went to bed, they showed Jack the cave where their money was hid, and all their disguises in another cave, and swore obedience to him. One morning, when they were at breakfast, about a week after, said they to Jack, "Will you mind the house for us today while we are at the fair of Mauchery? We hadn't the spree for ever so long, you must get your turn whenever you like. Never say it twice," says Jack, and off they went. After they were gone, says Jack to the wicked housekeeper, "Do these fellows ever make you a present?" "Ah, catch them at it." "Indeed, and they don't," pursuing to him, "Well, come along with me, and I'll make you a rich woman." He took her to the treasure cave, and while she was in raptures, gazing at the heaps of gold and silver, Jack filled his pockets as full as they could hold, put more into a little bag, and walked out, locking the door on the old hag, and leaving the key in the lock. He then put on a rich suit of clothes, took the goat, and the wedding, and the bullock, and drove them before him to the farmer's house. Joan and her husband were at the door, and when they saw the animals, they clapped their hands and laughed for joy. "Do you know who owns some beasts, neighbors?" "Maybe we don't." "Sure they're ours. I found them straying in the wood." "Is that bag with 10 guineas in it that's hung round the goat's neck yours?" "Faith, it isn't." "Well, you may as well keep it for a godsend. I don't want it. Heaven be in your road, good gentleman." Jack traveled on till he came to his father's house in the dusk of the evening. He went in, "God save all here, God save you kindly. Sir, could I have a night's lodging here?" "Oh, sir, our place isn't fit for the likes of a gentleman such as you are." "Oh, amuse him. Don't you know your own son?" Well, they opened their eyes, and it was only a strife to see you having their arms first. But, Jack asked him, "Where did you get the fine clothes?" "Oh, you may as well ask me where I got all that money," said he, emptying his pockets on the table. Well, they got in a great fright, but when they told him his adventures, they were easier in mind, and all went to bed in a great content. "Father," says Jack, next morning, "go over to the landlord, and tell him I wish to be married to his daughter." "Faith, I'm afraid he'd only set the dogs at me. If he asks me how you made your money, what'll I say? Tell him I am a master thief, and that there is no one equal to me in the 3 kingdoms, that I am worth 1,000 pounds, and all taken from the biggest rogues unhanged. Speak to him when the young lady is by. It's a droll message you're sending me on. I'm afraid it won't end well." The old man came back in 2 hours. "Well, what news?" "Droll news, enough. The lady didn't seem a bit unwilling. I suppose it's not the first time you spoke to her." And the squire laughed, and said you would have to steal the goose off of the spit in his kitchen next Sunday, and he'd see about